Um, so we got a bunch of friends from South Carolina on with us here. I don't know if you want to just make a statement to get started, and then I'll open it up for questions if that's okay with you.
Yeah, I of course knew a lot of the sports people when I coached down at the Citadel from South Carolina. So look forward to getting to know you guys again, and probably a lot of new faces, I'm sure, but look forward to it.
All right, Eric Boynton, you want to start?
Sure thing. Coach, thank you very much for doing this. Eric Boynton with the Spartanburg Herald Journal. I know Shane told a few ago today about wearing like a Fisher-Price headset as a little kid. I guess practicing carrying cable in the garage so you get used to being on the sidelines. What are maybe some of your earliest recollections of Shane as a little kid and having an idea that he might go into coaching or maybe, just being on the sideline?
I heard part of that. I think he's always been a guy that's been around the sidelines. Did it since I was, I don't know when. Rode the bus with us at Murray State and so forth. So, there's a pretty good indication early on that he just might be a coach and football coach. And at that time, I didn't know he's going to be such a good football coach. I think he's really worked at this thing. He works at recruiting, and recruiting, not to me, is work. You got to have that personality, but you got to put in the work, and he's done that. And I'm just so proud of him, how he's handled himself, how he treats people, how he is in control of situations. So I think he's more than ready for this head coaching job, and I know one thing: he's going to give it everything he's got. I promise you, he's going to put everything he's got into it, and makes South Carolina a great program, and and that's where he wanted to go. I think that's the other part of it, is that he talked about so many times. That was his dream job, and he knows this in the Southeastern Conference, and he knows he's in a tough division, and he knows it's a lot of tough teams in the Southeastern Conference. But I think he's looking forward to the challenge of all that.
Joe Gorcho.
Hi, Coach. Joe Gorcho, WIS TV in Columbia, South Carolina. Thanks for making the time to do this today. I wanted to follow up on that. When did you realize that your son had the potential, I know you talked about it a little bit, to become a head coach, and what are the qualities in your mind that you've seen him develop over the years that will lead him to have success in his first head coaching job? And what advice would you give him as he takes over a program for the first time?
Well, I think it's interesting. You look at his history and the people that he's been with, and he never asked me to make one phone call for him. He got on Phil Fulmer's staff. He got on George O'Leary's staff. He got on Sylvester Groom's staff. He got on Steve Spurrier's staff. All the different, came here for a while, been in Georgia. So, I think it's pretty interesting. He's made all these great stops and be with great people, and he's done it on his own. I mean, he's sold himself and had the personality to close the deal. And so, I think it's, that part's very interesting. Tell me the other couple of questions you had. I'm sorry.
Well, the other one I wanted to follow up on was, what advice would you give him as he takes over a program for the first time?
Be exactly who you are. We talk about things you have to do. You got to care about your players, and they got to know it. And he does that. He already does that. You got to have respect for your players and their beliefs and so forth. He does that. He already knows that. And so I think he's got the background. the players have got to know that you know what you're talking about, that what you're teaching them can help them play better and reach their goals. And he's extremely knowledgeable, has coached a lot of different positions, offense, defense, special teams. So he knows football. And so I think that's the thing that, he's ready for this. What I think you need to be a good football coach, he's already got. It's not like he's got to develop it now, and he already has it.
Ben Briner.
Hey, Coach Beamer, Ben Briner from the state newspaper. Appreciate you doing this.
What's your first name?
Ben Briner.
Ben, okay, gotcha.
Just as a dad, what has it been like to kind of watch your son sort of wait for this opportunity? I know he's looked for some other head coaching jobs, and what has it been like to watch him sort of wait and then finally, after a few stints, land this kind of chance?
Well, I think he's had opportunities to go to some places and didn't think it was quite right, and he kind of had his idea where he wanted to go, and so watching him do that and knowing that he's had opportunities and knowing how hard he works, and when he's here, he's the first guy in the office, the last guy to leave, and he's just it's worked hard to be a good football coach and a good recruiter. I mean, he's put in his time. So he's absolutely made me tremendously proud of who he is and what he is and how he is. And then he was fortunate enough to marry a beautiful girl from Mississippi and have 3 wonderful kids. So my wife and I talk about it all the time. We got a daughter in Charlotte, and she's got a wonderful husband and 3 great kids. And we've just been blessed to have our kids and their spouses and their kids all the way they are, and so proud of all of them. We've just been blessed.
Mitch Brown.
Coach, I was going to Mitch Brown down at Watch Fox in Columbia. Came from Norfolk actually in 757. So for you to have your son be able to finally get his first job as a head coach, obviously you've been proud for him to make it throughout the ranks. But what does it mean to see a goal that he set out for early on actually pay off? And like you said, you didn't have to make a call for him. How proud does that make you as a father?
Well, we watched the press conference yesterday, and between my wife and I, crying and cheering and smiling, and it's been such a great feeling to see him be successful, and how well he handles himself, and how he conducted himself at the press conference. I just very proud of him, and like I said, I think he's prepared for this for a long time. I know he's got in his mind what he wants to do and how he wants to do it, and he's his own guy. I mean, he'll listen to other people, but I think he feels, and I feel, that he's got good ideas himself.
Michael Lanana. I'm sorry if I'm off on your pronunciations, guys.
It's okay. I got a tricky last name. It's Michael Lanana. I'm with the state newspaper. Thanks for doing this today, Coach. Appreciate your time. Shane was saying yesterday, he was talking about one of his favorite qualities of yours is just how you're so even keeled, when things are good and things are bad. And I'm just curious, throughout your coaching career and throughout your life, how did you kind of develop that quality, and where is Shane kind of in that journey? Because obviously coaching at an SEC school, there's going to be a lot of pressure and a lot of ups and downs. And, how important is it to be able to have that approach as a head coach?
I worked at it. I thought early on, you just can't be a guy that one day you're very high and the next day you're real low. The mood swings are too different. And then the kids, the players, they see that. And I think when they see calmness and steadiness, you build confidence with them. They know their leader is not going to be up and down and all over the place, and one day screaming and the next day not talking. And so I think, I know for myself, I worked at it and tried to be that guy, not too high, not too low. And they say somewhere in the middle is reality, and that's what I tried to be.
Colin Taylor.
Hey, Coach Beamer, appreciate you taking some time to do this. This is Colin Taylor from the rival site in Columbia. You mentioned a couple times Shane and recruiting. As a guy that's done it before and a guy that's spent a lot of time recruiting, just what makes him an effective recruiter at the ACC or SEC level?
Well, I think number one, he works at it, because recruiting is great building the relationships, but it's making that extra call or writing that extra note or making sure when it's all said and done, when that guy makes a decision and wants approval, who's he going to go to? Is it mom or granddad or dad or uncle or high school coach? And make sure that guy, you've got a relationship with that person to get the final approval. So I think, he's worked at all that. And then he's to me, he's an easy guy to be around. He's a likable guy to be around, and because he likes people and knows what he's saying and how to say it, in my opinion. And so I think all that goes into recruiting and being a good recruiter, because number one, he'll work at it. He'll work at it hard.
Hale McGranahan.
Hey, Coach, this is Hale McGranahan. I work with 24/7 Sports.
Okay.
I appreciate your time today. So obviously Shane mentioned to us yesterday how he semi-committed you to having a job working in some capacity with the program. Have you guys reached any of those details yet, or is it still in the planning phase at this point?
Yeah, I'm going to take a look at this contract. I want to see what kind of contract we got.
Yeah.
No, we're going to be around, but he's his own man. And he has he'll hire a great staff and great people around him. And that's who he needs to be listening to. But I tell you what, when 3 of my grandkids live in Charlotte and now 3 live in Columbia, the person that's going to make sure we're around is my wife and his mother. That's because she definitely loves being around those grandkids. So we're going to be close, but he's going to do a good job of doing what's right for that program.
Dick Cox.
Yes, this is Dick Cox with Lindy Sports and Cox Sports Broadcasting Coach.
Yeah.
Kind of following up on the question there, what does it mean to you? You actually had your son come be on your staff for several years. What's it mean for you to get to go back now and then possibly in some way support your son, maybe being a member of his staff or his program?
Yeah, it's just really, really neat to see him get a job at such a good program. And of course, he was born in the state of South Carolina and knows what that program is and looks so forward to going back to it. So, it's just, it's been really great to go through this and see him take over. And I know he's going to do a great job.
Is there anybody else that had a follow-up that I missed here? Joe?
Yeah, Coach, I wanted to just to quickly ask you, when you first started out in coaching and got to a major program, what was the key to handling the pressures that you get from the outside? I think it's one thing to manage your team, and it's another, especially if you look at the Gamecock fan base, and just the pressures that come and the expectations that come when you become the guy that everyone looks for to lead the program to wins.
Yeah, it's all part of it. And you're talking about pressure when you're 2-8-1 after your 6th year at Virginia Tech. That's pressure right there now. And but you know what happened? I think the people, Dave Brain, and forever thankful to him, but could see that we were doing it right, that we were going to graduate our kids, that we really cared about our kids, and just knew that we need time. And when I came in, we were penalized scholarships. The staff before had too many people on scholarship, and so we were penalized scholarship, and I convinced people that was the toughest penalty you can have, because you know, in their 5th or 4th, 5th year, when they should be helping you, they're not there. You know, you don't have those 25, 30 guys. So, but again, I think it goes back to being real and being caring, and make sure your kids are graduating and do what's right for them. And with that, you know, I think the pressure kind of takes care of itself. As long as you know you're doing what's right, the pressure will take care of itself.
Mike Uva.
Hey, Coach, I know it was something that we joked around with your son yesterday.
I've lost you.
Mike, you muted yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on my phone today. Sorry, guys. Coach, we joked with your son yesterday because Gamecock fans got a kick out of it with the whole Beamer ball. Is that something you would allow your son to be able to use? And you know, jokes aside, what do you think he's been able to just take away from being able to be around you at such a young age, something that a lot of these college coaches might not have had the opportunities to until a bit later in life?
Yeah, you know, Beamer ball around here means whoever's on the field, you've got an opportunity to score, whether it's offense or defense or special teams. Block a kick or take a punt return back or a kickoff return. And we really emphasize that whoever in defense, we got a lot of interceptions. Bud Foster, our coordinator, and that staff, we got a lot of interceptions that went back to the end zone. And so, you know, that's kind of the way it is. And to me, that's the way you play football. And every element of football, offense, defense, special teams, have the same value. And most people will say that, but I don't know if they practice that. I don't know, you know, in the middle of practice, they stop and do special team work. So the offense and defense is looking at the special teams and kind of make it more important. So, I believe firmly, Shane believes that you got to be good in all 3 areas, and that's what he'll strive for.
Couple more guys. Ben, did you have a follow-up?
Yeah, Coach, I wanted to ask, you'd mentioned a second ago, Coach Foster. I know he's in, I think, retirement at the moment, but do you think he's a guy that could potentially come out of that and potentially help your son in a possible situation? Or
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I think Bud's enjoying fishing on the lake right now, so I don't know anything about that. I will tell you one thing though. This opportunity is going to give me a chance to see my favorite singer, Darius Rucker, a little bit more. When he came and played in Roanoke, we played golf up here one time, and so I'm looking forward to playing a little golf with him in South Carolina.
Very cool. Thanks.
Hale, did you have a follow-up?
Yes, I did. Coach, I guess this is probably a little more of a general question, but as Shane is building his staff, what are some of the things that he or really any coach in his position should kind of keep in mind as he's putting together his assistants and support folks and making all that stuff come together?
Yeah, knowledgeable, of course, and no football, but believe in the same things that you believe in. You know, those things that I talked about, those players, you got to have everybody going in the same direction. And if you got one guy going here and the other guy going here, and it's like you're all over the place. I think everyone that you hire have got to believe the same things that you believe, that you need to respect your players, care about them. There's got to be trust there. So I think that's the one thing that you look for, other than, initially the knowledge of the game. But I think those other things have to be in place also.
Michael, did you have a follow-up?
Yeah, just two quick ones. The first one's kind of silly. What's your favorite Darius Rucker song? Do you have a favorite one that you like?
I think you can name a lot of them now. Wagon Wheel probably would be right up there. But I mean, he's had so many great songs. I've seen him in concert, I don't know how many times, but he's just such a good entertainer, and what a great voice, and a good guy. Good guy. I look forward to seeing him.
Yeah, Wagon Wheel's appropriate too, with Shane coming to Carolina, right?
You got it. You got it. I knew there was a tie in there somewhere.
Yeah, but what I also wanted to ask is he mentioned yesterday when he first mentioned to you that he wanted to be a coach someday, that you might have been a little, hey, it's a stressful, maybe think about another career potentially. Did you ever sort of try to steer him in another direction? I imagine it was tough to kind of, obviously he's a head coach. I'm sure it was tough to do that.
No, I just want to be, since he wasn't insane trying to go into the coaching business when he'd been around our family all those years and could see the up and downs. Now, he, like we said, he showed early on that, he's certainly leaning towards trying to be a coach. And the thing, again, that I like so much is he worked and did it on his own. I didn't make that call. When he got the job, he worked for those people, and I think in every case did a great job. So, he knew you get the job and you work at it and give it your all, and then you can live with whatever happens. And that's kind of the way he's been.
Dick, did you have a follow-up?
You guys might notice I'm drinking a lot of water, but I just got back. I took my wife, she had a little accident there and I had to have her foot operated on. Just came from Roanoke from the doctor's office. Thought I was going to be late, so I'm running in here. So that's why I'm drinking a lot of water right now. So just so you guys know.
Dick Cox, did you have anything else for Coach Beamer? If not, Colin Taylor, did you have a follow-up?
Yeah, I had two quick questions, Frank. I guess you mentioned how emotional it was for you watching the press conference. I'm curious what that moment was like for you when he called or texted and reached out to you to tell you he got the job. What kind of emotions and things went through your head when you finally heard that he accepted?
You mean after all the crying and shouting and getting up off the floor?
Yeah, that worked.
Yeah,
right after that. Yeah.
It was amazing, really. I mean, you kind of dream you're going to hear that sometime, but you think about it, and most people, and the way I thought I was going to, when I was at Murray State, and I thought I was going to have to take another job at a step up to get to a place like South Carolina to be your final job. And so to see, that's the way I thought it's going to have to be. But to see it happen in a place that Shane really wanted to go to, and happen this early, really, in his career, it's just amazing. It's amazing.
And I guess Shane told the story yesterday of Coach Spurrier during one golf match, kicking him out of the lead group and making him play back. I'm curious, have you
Can
gotten
you imagine that? Can you imagine Steve?
Knowing Steve, yeah, I probably could.
Yeah.
I'm curious, have you gotten a chance to ever golf with Coach Spurrier? And if so, are there any good stories you could probably tell?
We played in this Chick-fil-A tournament down at Reynolds Plantation. And they told me that I asked John Belen, who I rely on a lot, he was my administrative assistant who I should take, because you take a celebrity as a partner. And he said, well, if you want to win, you ought to take Dale Curry. I said, well, Dale, let's put a call into Dale Curry. And sure enough, Dale Curry is a good golfer. And we won it the first year. And so Steve was there, and his partner that year, he was at South Carolina at the time. His partner was Darius Rucker. And Darius is a good golfer. But the next year, Steve kind of saw what happened, me bringing Dale Curry with me. So you know who he had the next year? Sterling Sharp. Sterling Sharp hits it from here to the next county over. I mean, the longest guy I've ever seen. So sure enough, the next year, we're tied. We're tied going into the 18th hole. So we go back and we play the 18th hole again. And I hit one up there and the ball's off to the side. It's not on the green, but it's off to the side. And they hit one and it's over the green in the water, in the lake. So, and Gary Stoken at the time for Chick-fil-A was kind of the referee. He didn't know quite what to do. So Steve, before anybody could do anything, and I'm sure our ball, we didn't say the ball had to be on the green. So I'm sure our ball was closer than that ball over there in the lake floating away. But before we could say anything, Steve said, well, back to 150. It was hitting from 150 yards out. Back to 150, let's go. So but there we go back. And sure enough, next split time, they hit one up there closer on the green than we did. So I should have spoke up, but Steve got us going back to the 150 mark pretty quick.
It's better than getting kicked out of the lead group. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he takes his golf seriously. I can attest to that for sure.
All right. Hey, Steve Fink, do you have anything for Coach Beamer before we wrap it up?
Now, the only thing I was going to ask, Coach, is how good a player was Shane? We all need to know. He was a deep snapper, I think, and he talked a little bit about thinking about the NFL. So I'm curious how good a player he was.
He was. He worked hard at becoming a snapper. I can remember us be down the lake during the summer, and I go out every day and we'd snap. He'd have to snap 50 perfect or 100 perfect, and if he got to 49 and had a bad snap, and we go back to 0. But he worked hard at becoming a really good snapper, and you didn't have great athletic ability, but he had good football sense. I've always said if you're on special teams and you're covering punts, being able to get angles and know where you want to pin a guy into the sideline or what, to make him go in a certain direction, you have to have good football sense. And when you watch Shane snap and get down the field covering, he had good football sense. I mean, he knew the angles he needed to take and how he needed to make people go in one direction. And so, his knowledge of the game was great. His ability for the game was okay, not great, but you knew, again, he gave it, you never saw him not hustle, not giving it his best. So I'm proud of him in that regard too.
Well, we certainly appreciate your time, Coach. It really helped us out, and look forward to seeing you down here in Columbia soon.
Absolutely. Well, I look forward to seeing you guys for sure.
All right. Thank you, Coach Beamer.
Okay.
Coach, thank
Thanks,
you.
Coach.
Appreciate
Pete,
it.
thanks for helping out today.